Keith here with Math and Games. Today we're going to play MBT from GMT Games, Scenario 3, The Gap. It's GDR Western Border, 27th of September 1987. The situation is the Soviet 8th Guards Army surges across the line of departure as the GFFG's first strike of the war. Of its 4 divisions, the 79th Guards Tank Division is spearheading the advance into the Fulda Gap. Poised to blunt the Soviet strike is the U.S. 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, the Black Horse Regiment. Its Abrams tank and Bradley cavalry fighting vehicles are positioned along the suspected route of advance. They must delay the Soviet forces as the remaining U.S. 5th Corps moves up in support. The U.S. force applies a +20 die roll modifier to the initiative because U.S. forces are veteran and the Soviet forces are only seasoned. For the turns 1 through 3, the U.S. vehicles get a -20 modifier when searching for hull down position. We're not using morale and cohesion rules. We're not using hidden unit rules. We are using the command span rules. So the US has a command span of 10 hexes. So if the US units have this right here is the command hex, that's the command unit. And actually this is that Abrams, and if a unit goes beyond 10 hexes of that Abrams, then the U.S. troops are out of command, and only half the commands can be movement commands. Movement commands are short haul commands. For the Soviet command headquarters, their command span is 6 hexes, and I don't like where I have that Abrams tanks position right now. It's vulnerable. I'm going to move that back, I think, because I don't think that's a great position for that Abrams to be in right now. So I'm actually going to move that back. Okay. Move that there. And I'm going to move that Abrams tank back here. And I'm going to orient it in that direction. And then I'm going to move those other units forward. Okay, I'll move them there. And so I'll have to reorient these because they're going to be covering the approaches. Change their orientation. So that Bradley has tow missiles right there, which tow missiles fire better at longer range. So I'm going to move that Bradley back into the same hex with the command tank, so it can cover the flank more. And this unit right here, the M106A2. Let's see what armament the M106A2 has. M106A2. So M106A2, they can do indirect fire, which is interesting, as well as direct fire. And it's mainly GP, general purpose ammunition. It has good range, but it really can't defend much, except it can defend against infantry units. So I'm going to move that forward nevertheless. I'm also going to put that in the same hex as the command unit. And I'm going to put this infantry unit right next to it over there. Okay. there's a line of 4 tanks right here. All right, so there's 1 platoon of tanks covering that road, and then there's this unit, the recon unit. I believe they have a light anti-tank weapon which they can use, and then this unit has a light anti-tank weapon which they can use. But I would love to have tow coverage down that road, and the further away it is the better. So F8, yes. So if I put the tow unit right back here, this Bradley in the town, that's an excellent position for that tow unit. It's basically firing right down that road, and that's where I want it. Perfect. Okay. And then I'll just have their associated recon unit right next to them in full cover. All right, that's much better now. So now I have some real coverage. I have a tow unit covering right down the center of that road. Okay, I want to have a little bit better cover there. Is that headquarters units as well? Is that recon unit in range of the headquarters unit now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's not. So where am I going to move it? How about if I move it in this grain field? Be a little bit harder to see there, but 8. So let's draw a line of sight right here, right over here. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm gonna have to see. I get the United States starts with 2 hull down units, and I'm gonna have to waste one of those hull down units because that's a very vulnerable position for that unit to be in. So I'm going to have to start that hull down. Rotate clockwise. Nope, I want to rotate it. And I want to rotate the unit itself clockwise. There you go. So they'll give me tow missile coverage right down that road, and I'm starting hull down. Hull down in crops. It doesn't make a difference because hull down is hull down, but I just want to see, yeah, you can do hull down in crops, just checking. And that means these guys, the associated recon infantry, I'm going to put them in full cover. It's going to be very hard to see them, which is good. They're going to just be low in the grain. I really would have liked to have that Bradley in better coverage rather than just grain, but I need coverage. I need some type of coverage to guard that main avenue of approach there beyond these 4. Well, how about if I move these 4 around? I can do this. I'll shift them to the right. There we go. Okay, so now that's a little bit better. I got a little bit more coverage on my headquarters. I got to cover that headquarters. All right, now let's check the range from the headquarters to the outlying units. So what's going on is I have to make sure all my units are within 10 hexes of my headquarters. See, they're 13 and they're 13, so I have to move them. So they're out of range. And I have a Bradley and I have a recon. The problem is I'm concerned that the Ruskies are just going to flank me over here unless I give this side enough coverage. So I might have to waste another hull down. So I have to move. So I have units over here on the right. I have to move within range of my headquarters tank. Alright. So just have to find a place for them. So let's see now. Draw 10. See, that's good. I guess that's not necessarily a good spot for him. I would love to have more oomph on this hill. That's right there is a good place for him. I don't like having two vehicles in the same location though. That is the best place for him. Or I can have him at the top of the hill. Alright, one moment. I know what I'm going to do. Gonna move some things around over here. If I put this unit in the hill, I put this squadron in full cover. Here, yeah, I'll put them in the scrub, full cover. Now see, the thing is, the Soviets have a vehicle that has ground-based radar. Ground-based radar automatically detect any leg units and towed units within 20 hexes. And they detect army units within 70 hexes. But 70 hexes, that'd be like a desert fight, so it wouldn't be this. Okay. And my headquarters vehicle, hold down. And I can have these units trying to find hull down. I guess that's the way to go over here. I can point that in that direction. I can move this one down, I suppose, and point it in that direction. I mean, they're going to be spotted right away because of the enemy unit with ground-based radar. I'm going to remove the spotting command. See these recon units right here. Right? That's the second recon and second. There's two different. This right here is the second recon, and I have the other unit of the second recon right here. Right. And then the first recon is here on top of the hill and right there. Now the reason this has an effect is because once I activate, because I'm using staggered initiative, which means I activate units by platoon. If I activate the first recon, then during that activation, all of my first recon units can move, even if they're separated. And if I activate the second recon, then they can move, even if they're separated. So, all right, but I think this is the best setup right here. And this way, if I find that the Soviets are trying to flank my position by going through that town and going over that hill. Since everybody's in command range, I can move a lot of units around and respond to that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Of course, another possibility, I would be able to setting up in these woods right here. So what would be the command radius if I set up in, let's say I set up in this woods hex? So that covers all the way to the front over here, and it covers over there, and it would naturally cover the town. And that way I could still have coverage down this main road. That's another possibility to set up my headquarters. Now, let's try moving that. That's range 11, but that's not a big deal. I can move that infantry back. So what do I do with my Abrams platoon if that's the case? Let's take another look. One advantage of the forward position is I can take out the Soviet headquarters tank immediately, which means that will have all their, so their command range is 6. If I take out the Soviet command vehicle, then they can do no more than half of their commands as short halts or movement. And since they're the ones that are on the offense, that's advantageous for the Americans. So that's the advantage of having units so far deployed forward. But I'm not going to do that. I think I am going to move the command back from the front line. The command tank back from the front line. Alright, so I want to recheck some radiuses here. So I'd have to move them back. And the tanks. That's my range of 10, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10. So I can put a recon unit right there. I would love to get more coverage down that road though. In this building back here. So who do I put there? That's the question. I want the American command units further back, first of all. I don't like him having him that far forward, even if it means I don't have a chance to destroy the enemy command headquarters. I like having my command tank a little bit more protected, so I'm going to move them back here. Okay. Now, this recon unit, I can move over here. I can move them back. Right here. Move them right there, maybe. Right? Move them right there. The infantry unit will be forward under full cover. And Bradley with the toes will be facing that direction right there. And that is still within 10 hexes, so they're still within command radius. Oh, they're out of, that would be out of command radius. Man. Oh, I guess I could move them then right here. Okay. Can move them right there. I can move them. Oh yeah, I can move the Bradley right with them too. Okay, I'll do that. One small consideration here is that the Soviets have indirect fire weapons. Indirect fire weapons attack whole hexes. So if you're facing indirect fire hex weapons, it's best to spread out your units. So I have the 4 Bradleys left. And that M106, I'm going to move right there. That M106 can provide light cover. It can provide indirect fire. 106. Yeah, there's the Command Bradley. The Command Bradley with the Bradley with the tow missile. I can move that forward. Let's turn that. All right. I can put that right there. And then the full cover marker, I just put in the hex next to the infantry unit right there, just so that I know that that's in full cover. So the vehicle goes down below, the infantry goes above the vehicle, and that gives me more tow missile coverage. The actual Command Abrams itself, I'm not going to expose. I'm going to keep them back there. Now, why do I have 2 106s? I might have cloned one of them by mistake. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I only have 1 106. Now the 106, the recon units can call in GP fire from the 106, indirect fire. So that's a good thing, I guess. So let's look at this over here on the right. So I have a recon unit that I haven't fully placed yet. And I also have my tank platoon, which I haven't fully placed yet. Once again, I'm pulling out the 10 hex marker. Just want to, whoa, flying tank, yay. Okay, sorry, I'm being silly. All right, range of 10. 10. So that covers all the way to this board edge over here. Range of 10, range of 10. All right, maybe I should try giving some coverage to the other direction. Let's try that. All right. So we're going, oh. Nine, 10. Okay, so that's a little hillock over there. That might be a good place to put a recon unit. Quite possibly my tanks. Now I'm not going to be able to put tanks in that heavy woods though. So I have to spread out my tanks because of that heavy woods right there. Well, at the very least I can put one of my recon units over there. So I have second recon over, first recon over here. So maybe I want to put the first recon right next to it, even though it doesn't matter that much, but oops. So I'm gonna move my first recon unit over there. Oops. Get rid of that. There. So I'm moving my first recon unit right here on that hill. And I'm going to move my face my Bradley in that direction. And I'm going to face the recon section in that direction. Okay. And on this hill, and this is a forward hill on the right, 10. Yep, I'm going to put one of my tow missile units. My recon unit right there. So all my Bradleys have tow missiles, which is nice, I should say. And this unit right here, I'm going to put them just below. Oh, put them kind of off to the side in full cover. Okay, that's good. So this unit right here is going to be hull down. Oops. What does that say? Up. That up meant it's upper floor. Now I'm going to clone it and move it right here. Oops. All right. Okay. And then I'm just going to have, hopefully, by the time there's any threat to the headquarters unit, I can get that unit into hull down. So for the first 3 positions, I have a 10%. All right, so now, what do I do with my big boys? What do I do with my Abrams platoon? And do I put them in the town? Because if they're in the town, they can fire right down that road. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put one here. Put 2 there. And put 2 behind them. That's a possibility. That's a very good possibility I'm thinking of. And they can pretty much react to whatever's going down over here. And the only disadvantage to moving everything back like this is, like I said, we're not going to be able to see everything perfect. Our line of sight isn't going to be that great to what's going on. The Soviets are going to be able to get all the units on board and staged before I can really hit them. And but if I were to move my unit forward on this hill, I could hit them as soon as they enter the board. Then the problem becomes my headquarters unit becomes vulnerable. So that's one big consideration. So I think that's gonna be it. So in this area right here. Now, if you look now, if you're just listening to this, if you want to look on your screen, that area right there, that's my 1st Recon Unit platoon. There's my Abrams platoon. My 2nd Recon Unit is a little bit more separated right here, but they're right there. This is my headquarters area. This right here is the headquarters tank, Abrams. This can do indirect fire. It's 106. And this right here is a Bradley with tow missiles and a headquarters squad that has, what armament does a headquarters squad have? It has a light anti-tank weapon. And that's it. Okay, so that's a good setup for the Americans. So that's the way I'm going to set up for the Americans. Next, so I just want to go through some of the various rules that I'm going to be using. But I think that's it for now. I'm going to halt this video right here, half hour. I like to keep my videos to half an hour.